Thanks for checking out the Abnormal Japan podcast. We're based in Tokyo, Japan from Houston, Texas. If you're curious what it's like living here, or you just want to tap in for abnormal topics from time to time, stay tuned and follow us on your favorite listening platform. Hey everyone, I'm your host Bree. Last episode we discussed another Japan crime files, deadly drinks involving poisoned milk, and vending machine murders. So for those of you who love true crime, check that out if you missed it. And if this is your first time listening to our podcast, welcome. We cover various topics such as travel, life in Japan, true crime, LGBT, and more. So check out our other 3 seasons for that. And as always, I'm here with my co-host.
What's up, y'all? I'm ready for a terror time again. So that is nice. A song, in case you don't know, from Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. I've seen that movie like 80 times because I had to show it for class. So the song is stuck in my head. But since we're doing a horror episode, I'm ready for a terror time.
Yes.
I love horror. I always have. But I'm also so scared. It doesn't make sense.
I hope this one's scary. We'll see.
I hope so. It's going to be a fun one.
All right, so Spotify listeners, if you want to hear any of the topics in playlist form, check out the link in the show notes description. They're great for when you're in the mood for a specific topic genre. You can also find the topic collections on our host site at abnormaljapan.podbean.com if you follow us there. All right, so today's topic is a Japanese urban legend folklore story. But before we get into that, let's answer a listener's question. This is the segment where we answer one of y'all's questions. Most times anonymously, but if you want to send in your name, always add it to the question that you send in. Mm-hmm. So today's question is favorite anime series you're currently watching.
So I don't watch as much as I used to, clearly. But there's one that you wanted to talk about, and I want to talk about that a little bit as well.
Yes, so I'm not currently watching it anymore because I'm waiting for more episodes to come out, and that's Demon Slayer. I don't know if we're gonna give any spoilers, so if you haven't finished watching what's out right now, maybe skip ahead. But yeah, I love that anime. Like, just like you, I haven't really been watching much just because I've been busy. And also I'm not used to the new anime like style.
It's kind of jarring at first. And also there's so much variety in styles.
Yeah. I love the animations though. That's just gotten so much better over time. But yeah, Demon Slayer, I don't know, it just has all aspects of an anime that I really enjoy. What are some ones that you like?
I'm not watching it currently, but Haikyuu, I need to catch up on season 4. It's I love sports anime for some reason. It's just I love athleticism and stuff like that, and so the art style is really cool. Like I never thought I'd like volleyball. I like stuff like a little bit more action heavy, like basketball or boxing and stuff. But no, the animation on Haikyuu is really, really sick. Same with My Hero. I haven't caught up on the new season. Kind of letting it build up a little bit so I can just binge it while I'm washing dishes or something like that.
Yeah, that's like the best way.
Yeah, and then My Hero. Yeah, My Hero, or not My Hero, I just said that. Demon Slayer.
Oh,
so
yeah.
When we finished it, I waited a little while and I was like, I can't wait. I got to read the manga. So I just like read. I
know. I haven't. I really want to because I know I'll have like a little bit more spoiler and like more background. And the manga is always better.
Apparently the manga is written by a lady and she had a lot of input into the show. She was like, hey, so this is kind of like the feeling, and then the animators like kind of took it beyond what's already in the manga. So apparently the anime itself is like they had an artistic divergence, I guess you could say.
I can definitely tell. What are other animes based off of women writers, like Inuyasha,
Full Metal
Alchemist? There's some more. I don't know. I'm sure there's a whole list, but like I love all those animes.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too because like they have a unique perspective.
Yeah.
Now, if you did read the manga, right? What are you expecting? Because the community I've seen is like really positive. They're like, oh, this is for all the newbies who don't read the manga. Skip this post.
Okay, so what would I expect?
Yeah, what are you
Okay,
expecting
so
if you do read
generally
it?
when I read the manga versions, there's usually more intense like fighting or violence. It's like very adult in that sense. So I would expect the fighting scenes to be more intense and maybe a different storyline, like a little bit, because sometimes it's not the exact same route, you know?
I think so far it's the same.
Okay.
It is. I will say, people say that the author lady is kind of, she's rude to her fan base because she does like twists and turns and yeah.
I mean, hey, she's just doing what she wants, you know?
I'm excited though.
Who's your favorite character?
Oh, good question. My favorite character is okay. Just from the anime, I gotta pick Tanjiro. But then from like the whole show in general, I think Nezuko is probably my favorite character.
Yeah, she's adorable. I really wish they gave her a little bit more, and so maybe we're gonna see more later.
Yeah, I hate that she's like literally mute.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
And it's not voluntary either. Like, you know, it's just kind of like they just literally shut her up.
I know, like, why can't she try not to, like, I don't know. I feel like she doesn't need the bamboo, but I feel like because it's like forced upon her, that's the only way she can handle her urges. But I feel like as she gets older, maybe like take that away. But I really like Inosuke.
Oh my God, yes.
I don't know, the energy. It's so opposite from who I am, but I love it. The spider family freaked me out.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
It was just yikes, but the fighting scenes were beautiful. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's what we're currently watching. Let us know what you're watching right now. Any new ones? Because I know
recommendations. Yeah,
we need some recommendations because we don't really seek animes, I guess. All right, so thanks for sending that one in. Check the link in the description, abnormaljapan.com/questions, to send in one of your questions for a future episode. All right, so we're going to dive into a Japanese urban legend story about Yuki Onna, the Snow Woman, and reviewing the movie based on this story at the end. So check out the previous one in the series, 9 Urban Legends in Japan. We featured Teke Teke, Hanako-san of the Toilet, Kuchisake Onna, and some not so scary ones.
I actually liked the Urban Legends video that we did. We tried something new, and I think it came out pretty well. Now, it is winter, right? Ain't no spring, it's winter. So it's cold. And cold ghosts and cold demons scare me the most because they have the most nighttime. Like, it gets dark so early.
Yeah.
So, like, by the time you eat lunch, sometimes you're just like, oh, I guess it's nighttime.
I feel like they're more resilient because it's, like, dark and cold, you know? So, yeah.
I learned this recently. Apparently, all of Japan has one time zone. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I just heard it randomly.
No, you're right, yeah.
Okay. So 5 o'clock somewhere in the north and 5 o'clock somewhere in the south are like different like sun timings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of wild. But yeah, I don't like the short daytimes, and like winter ghosts kind of scare me the most because I feel the most vulnerable. I'm just like, I don't know if you're around me, because when ghosts are around, you feel cold, right? But if I'm already cold,
then you don't know if the ghost is there.
My ghost radar is off. Nah.
All right, so let's hear about this snow woman, and I hope y'all like this episode. Part 1, Yuki Onna's origin. Yuki Onna, which translates to Snow Woman, is a yokai, a supernatural spirit who is often described as a beautiful woman who floats throughout snowy nights and mountains looking for lost travelers to prey on. Her origin and her legend dates back to the Muromachi period between 1336 and 1573. So it goes way back.
Yeah.
This is when Japanese poet Sogi mentioned that he saw Yuki Onna when he was staying in what is now Niigata Prefecture.
Dang, so there was a sighting.
Yes. So he was like, let me write this down.
I know. Let me create a legend, my poet ass, man. Ooh, okay.
All right. Her appearance. So Yuki Onna is known to be quite tall, with long black hair, blue lips, probably because she's cold.
Right.
And transparent to pale like ageless skin. She blends easily in the snowy landscape with her white kimono, but sometimes can be found nude.
That's why she all pale and like blue lips.
I know. Like, I cannot handle the cold weather like
in
that.
the snow.
All right, so stories depict her as inhumanely beautiful and known to leave passersby struck with immense terror with her piercing dark violet colored eyes. So I hope you get a little image. You know, she got little blue lips, purple eyes, long black hair. She's tall. She's wearing white. Some say she has no feet because she doesn't leave behind any footprints.
Ugh.
But this is also a common feature of Japanese ghosts, so no one knows for sure.
If I see somebody, I think I mentioned this before. I don't know if we did this on the podcast or this was just in our everyday life.
The tiki.
Oh yeah, tiki.
Yeah.
If I see somebody without legs, I am turning around and walking away, especially in the snow.
At least if they're a ghost.
If somebody is like upright standing but they ain't got no feet,
they're just like floating. Yeah,
that's not a
flag.
different body type. That's a ghost.
All right, so let's talk about her behavior, right? Like what does she do? So her identity has many forms, which led to a multitude of legends about how she's truly like. Some say she's simply just a snow spirit or a spirit of a woman who fell over in the snow and died. Nonetheless, stories say that she ruthlessly kills any kind of victim, from lost travelers to parents searching for their lost children in the snow to sleeping residents in their own home. There's no escaping Yuki Onna, it seems. So before we continue, do you have any thoughts so far?
I've been spilling my thoughts, but okay, so it sounds to me like this. What's his name? Sogi? Yes, Sogi. He saw something for sure because he wrote something down. Now, I don't know about the legends, but I'm more curious like what that man saw.
Yeah, he's not the only one who wrote about her because this is like one of the most popular ghost stories in Japan.
Okay,
he was just like the first one, it seems, to have written something down about her. That's why they're like, oh, it dates back to this time period.
Oh, like the writing dates, but okay,
but
gotcha.
all these like appearances and how she does things is kind of accumulation of stories around Japan.
Okay. Now that's terrifying. It's like there's a legend of something called a Winnebago, I think. I could be saying it wrong. And that's in the Pacific Northern Tundra. So like the Canada areas, right? Apparently the Winnebago is like this thing that will haunt you in like cabins or in the woods. It's kind of like Yuki Onna, but it's like a mythical creature. And it'll take the shape of people you know.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So like
that's terrible.
Like I said, snow things are so scary.
That's so terrifying because like you have your full trust that that's the person you're talking to. But if it's a ghost, what are you gonna do?
I don't know. Apparently there's a whole game where like it's like a multiple choice game and you have like a group of friends and like you try to beat a Winnebago. I wonder if there's like a Yuki Onna video game.
Let's see. We are going to dive into popular culture later.
Right.
But what do you think about her? Like, what would you do if you saw her roaming around? Like that time it snowed in Tokyo?
Oh my God. Okay, if I saw somebody... Did we talk about the personal story of the kuchi?
Yes, we did, yeah.
So, okay, I'd probably do something very similar. Unless this person looked like they desperately needed help, I probably wouldn't stop because these circumstances are sus.
Yeah. I feel like she wouldn't be out where she's easily seen. So I feel like you would have to go somewhere more private. So I would just avoid those areas.
Like, let's say you're on a walk, right? And it's snowing. and it's like the middle of the day. You just happen to be on a walk. You're going down to the Kobini. Ain't no traffic. You don't hear no cars.
Ooh, she pops out.
That's when I would be like, oh, I see another person coming. Let me turn right real quick. I don't know. Like weird times of day or times of night even. I don't know. I don't like it.
All right.
I am curious to hear more about this legend to like get some more background context,
Yeah. Let's dive in. Part 2. Her legends across Japan. No one knows exactly what Yuki Onna is after, but how she attacks her victims varies in her legends. So let's discuss how her story is told throughout Japan, with an infamous story about Yuki Onna. This one was written by Lafcadio Hearn, a European traveling journalist who taught English in Japan in 1890.
Dang.
Seems like they were still ALTs back then.
Way back.
Yes. He also wrote Kwaidan, the book of Japanese ghost stories.
Oh, snap.
So if you're a fan of Japanese horror, you probably know who I'm talking about. This story was told to him by a farmer who lived in what is now Chofu, West Tokyo, about a legend of his village. Now, this one kind of hits home because...
Yeah, Chofu close.
So I think that's really interesting, though. How he heard this and he wrote about it, because he has one of the first well-detailed like legend of Yuki Onna.
Interesting. Now this farmer man, was he from Chofu or like he moved to Chofu from a village?
It was his village in what is now Chofu.
I was hoping it was something else. Okay.
Yeah, because in West Tokyo, the more west you go, is super mountainous. So that's probably where she was. All right. Once upon a time, or as they say, mukashi. There lived two woodcutters, Minokichi and Mosaku.
Okay.
Minokichi was young and Mosaku was very old. They left their village one winter's day to gather firewood, but they could not come back home because of a snowstorm. They found a hut in the mountain and decided to sleep there. While they were sleeping, a draft of cold wind swept into the hut. This woke young Minokichi up. He was surprised to see a beautiful lady with long black hair, snow-like skin, and in a white flowy kimono hovering over old Mosaku. He saw her blowing icy breath at his master. He was like, wait a second, what's going on? She then approached Minokichi to do the same, but she stared at him for a while and said, I thought I was going to kill you, the same as that old man, but I will not, because you are young and beautiful. You must not tell anyone about this incident. If you tell anyone about me, I will kill you.
Okay, so we got a femme fatale.
Yeah. Confused, Minokichi nervously answered, yes, I promise. He's like, I don't want to die.
Right.
This was the last thing he remembered that night. The next day, he was terrified to find his master dead and frozen.
Oh, no.
Minokichi then went to a nearby town to continue his life. He's like, I'm going to move on. He was trying hard to forget that fateful night. He's right. I don't want to be frozen to death.
Right, he's trying to put it behind him.
Yeah, he's like, let's pretend it never happened,
Right.
Several years later, Minokichi met a beautiful young lady named Oyuki. They became friends, then lovers, and they decided to get married.
Oh.
They had several children and lived happily for many years. Although, mysteriously, she did not age.
Now, that's cool and all. Get your skincare. But I'm sus.
Yep. Oyuki stayed young looking and beautiful through the years. One night, while their children were sleeping, he took notice of this while looking at her face and told her, you remind me of an incident that happened to me long ago. I was traveling with my master when we were attacked by a beautiful but deadly spirit of a lady with icy breath at night, killing my own master. She was very terrifying, but your face resembles her supernatural beauty. Upon hearing this, Oyuki stood up and floated in the air, her eyes welling with tears and anger. She said, "That woman was me. You broke your promise, but I cannot kill you because of our children. I cannot be with you anymore. Take good care of our children."
Dang.
With this, the Yuki Onna vanished and was never seen again.
What the heck?
So, moral of the story, keep your promises.
What the heck?
Yeah, just imagine, like, you tell me this story, right? You tell me this story, and you're like, hey, you remind me of this scary time. And I'll be like, what? And I just start floating. Like, what would you do?
Well, okay, first of all, I appreciate the honesty within the relationship. He felt like, oh man, I had this incident before we met, and I want to tell you about this because I want to have open communication within our relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess. True.
But then she was the lady.
Yeah, I mean, her name was Oyuki, which is big snow, or
it could be big snow,
or it has snow in the name.
Right.
He should have gotten some clues. Like that would have been like,
Yuki Onna, Oyuki. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Dang.
All right. So let's talk about some legends amongst prefectures of Japan. So there's stories all over Japan.
Oh, snap.
All right. So in the Kaminoyama region of Yamagata Prefecture, a Yuki Onna would come visit an old couple on a snowy night to warm herself by the Iori, a traditional Japanese sunken hearth. Hearth?
I think it's a hearth, yeah.
Okay, sunken hearth. When late that night, the Yuki Onna would again go out on a journey, the old man would attempt to take her hand to stop her. When he noticed that she was chillingly cold, he's like, no, like, stay warm. Then, before his eyes, the girl turned into a whirl of snow that exited the house through the chimney.
What the heck?
Also, on a night of a blizzard, the Yuki Onna would be standing there hugging a child. She would ask people passing by to hug the child as well.
No, thank you.
Yeah, right? No, thank you. When one hugs the child would become heavier and heavier until one would become covered with snow and freeze to death. It has also been told that if one refuses, one would be shoved down into a snowy valley.
There's no good, like, interactions.
Nope.
That's terrifying.
So, I guess with the first one, you know, she kind of imitated like normal human things, like, oh, let me go warm myself by the earth. So these ioris, I saw some pictures. It's pretty much like in a tatami room, and there's like a square of sunken dirt in the middle of the room, and it's like kind of like heated coal maybe or something to warm up, like a teapot that's hanging. Yeah, so I guess she was like, oh, let me go warm up, but I guess she was like, I'm gonna melt. So let me leave. And I think that's why she became like this snow blizzard thing.
Yeah. On like an architecture design, that's really cool. Like you have a sunken place for heat to come up. If it's coals, they could probably cook in there too, like for ventilation. I wonder how that worked. I'm nerding out about that. Like,
yeah, you're just like, how did this work?
I know. The Yuki Onna stuff is scary. I think the one where she's hugging a child is really scary.
Yeah.
Again, if I see a lady hugging a child in the middle of the snow, my first instinct is, are they okay? Yeah. And then my second instinct is, what is going on?
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
And the fact that like the child itself like gets heavier. So I guess that's a sign. Like I would just give it back to her, but oh, this baby's getting a little too heavy right now.
It's bait.
All right, so in Aomori Prefecture, it is said that there was a warrior, Bushi, who was asked by a Yuki Onna to hug a child in a similar way. But the warrior held a short sword, a tanto, by the mouth and hugged the child while making the blade go close to the child's head, which apparently allowed the warrior to avoid sinking. So he avoided the phenomenon of sinking into the snow. So when the warrior handed the child back to the Yuki Onna, she gave many treasures as thanks for hugging the child. It is also said that those who are able to withstand the ever-increasing weight of the child last all the way through would require great physical strength. So if you can last a little game, you're super strong.
Yo, he finessed that girl. He was like, oh, let me adjust my sword real quick. And then he was like, if I get too heavy, this baby gonna get, slip, cut it up. But
I know. I was like, wait, is he going to slice the babe? Like
that's
the baby?
what I was thinking. I was like, this is a wild man.
Mm-hmm. I guess in these stories is that she probably lost her child in the snow. Like they probably died together.
Mm-hmm.
So she probably wants someone to like give it a hug and give it back.
Right. In the one that you told me before, these variations, that one was more like a wandering lady. This one, it seems like more tragic.
Yeah. All right. So we got a couple more.
All right.
Another man from Yamagata claimed that he had been married to a Yuki Onna. His wife was beautiful with piercing eyes and skin as white as a marble statue. All right, if that's your thing.
Right.
Well, he loved to take long hot baths every night. His wife always refused to bathe, which puzzled him greatly.
That puzzled me greatly too. You don't want to bathe, but like, what's going on?
I think he meant like she didn't want to take hot baths with him.
That's fair.
So one cold and snowy night, he insisted that his wife takes a bath. He's like, no, like this, you gotta take a bath, girl. And he was like, you might freeze to death in the cold if you don't. She protested, but there was no reasoning with the man. And finally she caved in. She's like, fine, I'll do it. When he went in to check on her a few minutes later, all he found remaining in the tub were thin, half-melted icicle fragments.
Now, I don't know if that's the Yuki Onna story or if this girl just finessed him. She was like, I'm going to put this ice in this bathtub and I'm going to run away.
And like scare him.
Dang, that sucks though. Because if she was a Yuki Onna, that's it.
Apparently she was. And it seems like, she's a snow woman. So she can't be with, hot air, hot water. She just becomes ice or snow or something.
So your greatest weapon against Yuki Onna is a vending machine coffee. Well, not even vending machines. Because no, get the poison vending machine things, right?
Gosh.
From the last episode. And get the hot drinks, right? So when you go to a convenience store, get the hot drinks so you can just be like... And then
what if it's not her and you just like sprayed all this hot drink on somebody?
Then you apologize.
I think I would just walk away. Like I'd be like, nope, never mind. Because I don't think she seems that powerful.
True. Okay.
So far.
You're right.
I think she's like, if you're like interacting with her, she's like, all right.
Yeah, she's not like the other ones we talked about. This yokai Yurei?
Yokai.
Yokai. This yokai doesn't seem like, I don't know, high level. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's see.
Oh, God.
In the Iwate and the Miyagi prefectures, a Yuki Onna is thought to steal people's vitality. And in Niigata prefecture, they are said to take the livers out of children and freeze people to death. So it seems like in these prefectures, there's multiple Yuki Onnas.
I take back everything I said. Don't kill me, Yuki Onna.
So these ones are hungry. They're like, I need some life force energy. So I guess that's why, how they said earlier, she may attack parents who are looking for lost children because she probably ate their livers.
Oh, that makes sense. Dang, she going after the kids and the parents. Oh, dang. Okay, never mind. I take back everything I said.
And it's cold. So, like, I know in colder areas, people tend to eat more, like, meat protein, like animal protein, So, she was hungry. All right. So, in Akita Prefecture, looking at a Yuki Onna's face and exchanging words with her would result in being eaten. So, she'll just eat you.
Hey, so my Akita people, carry a heat pack, carry some hot water on you at all times.
I don't know if that'll do. But maybe have like fire or something. I don't know. It seems like she's out to get people in the snowy mountains or just like heavy snow. So just be careful. All right. So for reference, Japan has 47 prefectures. And it seems like each area has their own depiction of Yuki Onnas. A lot were similar. Some had ties to mountain gods. I did not cover that. So check the wiki link in the description to read more about those.
That's interesting. 47 different. That's a lot.
You knew that. You knew there was 47.
I didn't know how many like prefectures there were.
Yeah, there's a good amount.
I'm scared. Cause like I like walking, you know? What if
I mean,
run
it doesn't
into a Yuki
snow in
Onna?
Tokyo often, so
Look,
you're fine.
this man said chofu.
Yeah, it was
That's in
probably
Tokyo.
colder back then.
True, global warming. Oh
All
my
right.
gosh, that's how we're gonna defeat Yuki Onnas. Global warming
No,
is
that's
gonna
not
defeat
good.
Yuki Onnas.
All right, next. Next. Part 3. Yuki Onna's Legend Variations. She has some variations to the story. All right. So there are 4. So let's talk about those.
Okay.
The first one is the water beggar. This variation hails from Tottori Prefecture, where it is said that Yuki Onna travels on wind and appears on the days with a light snowfall. So not so heavy. She walks swinging a wooden wand with 2 white paper streamers and shouts whoever she meets saying, "Please give me water, hot or cold." If anyone gives her cold water, she swells in size, but if anyone gives her hot water, she melts and disappears. So
Interesting.
that one just seems like she is trying to like pretend that she's like just a basic human or like a religious Buddhist.
True, because if she's carrying around a gohei wand, is that like a religious instrument?
Yeah, it's used in like Buddhist temples and stuff.
Oh, okay. So she's masquerading right now.
So she might be around some temples. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of temples.
All
Dang.
right. So the next one, the Moon Princess.
I like
This
that name.
variation comes from Yamagata Prefecture, north of Japan, where it is said Yuki Onna to be the princess of the lunar world and living on the moon. Her life was filled with luxury, but it was extremely boring of her. You know, first space problems, I guess.
Right. It's not even first world. That's like
I know, like
first moon.
First universe problems.
Right. That's a different level.
So yeah, she was fascinated to see the planet Earth below. So she snuck out one night and fell down to Earth, traveling on snow. However, coming to Earth was easier for her than going back.
Uh-oh.
So she got stuck on Earth. She used to appear on a full moon and snowy night, pining for her old home. So I guess she's just like kind of like E.T., where she's like, "Oh, I want to go back home."
Oh yeah, she bought a one-way ticket.
I know. She thought
That's what happened.
she can go back.
Dang, that sucks.
That one's kind of cute. I feel like this Yuki Onna would be like a cute little Yuki Onna who's like, "Oh, I'm just bored."
The Moon Princess sounds like a very like, I don't know, like kawaii name. You know?
Yeah.
I don't even like kawaii things. I was like, oh, that's a cute name, Moon Princess.
I feel like she wouldn't like attack you. She'd probably is just like, let me just find my way back home.
You should probably just cry. Like,
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah, true. All right, so the next one, the snow vampire.
Man, what is this like? You know those pendulums that's like, like the metronomes that's like tick 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 back and forth. What is this? It's like Moon Princess, snow vampire, person with the baby, deadly woman who can blow you to ice, potential woman who didn't like her husband and ran away, and then like snow demon. Like,
it's so many types. I think this one's interesting because like I feel like anywhere you go, someone can tell you a version of their town.
Right.
All right, so the snow vampire. This Yuki Onna hails from 3 Japanese prefectures, Aomori, Niigata, and Miyagi. So northwest areas of Japan.
Okay.
Here it said that Yuki Onna is a dreadful snow vampire, haunting the snowy forest, looking to feed. She lives by sucking the vital energy of human bodies, which is mentioned as seiki. So it's kind of like taking life force.
Right.
She is said to extract the seiki first by freezing victims to death, then sucking the energy through the dead victim's mouth. Especially in Niigata Prefecture, it is said that Yuki Onna likes the energy of children. So the mothers are warned over there not to let their children play on snowy nights near a forest.
Oh, hell
So
no.
she kind of has some like Dementor vibes, you know? Like just taking that energy.
That's wild. So this is like an energy vampire situation. First, she freezes you, and then she takes your energy, which is wild because being cold saps your energy.
Well, at least you won't feel it.
That's
at
true.
least she's not doing it while you're alive. And you're just
that
like,
is a
what's
net
going
positive, yes.
on? I guess in that situation.
Dang, but she's also a predator.
Yeah. It's like in the infamous story with Mino Kichi. She was like, "Oh, you're young and beautiful." Like, how creepy is that?
Yeah,
like,
that's
what,
weird,
girl?
And in the story, it was like, oh, this man old. This man, like, not a man. This man a boy.
Yeah.
Weird.
She has problems. Yuki Onna, we don't need to talk, but you got some problems.
Yeah, please don't come talk to us.
All right, the Talking Snow Woman. This version comes from Ibaraki, Fukushima, Akita, and Fukui prefectures. So east, north, southwest areas of Japan. So like
dang, all over.
All over. Here, the Yuki Onna engages her victims in conversation in order to attack. So she's like, let me talk to you.
Okay.
When she meets someone on a dark and snowy night, she calls out to them. If the person answers her greeting, she attacks. But in Fukushima and Ibaraki, it said Yuki Onna attacks those who ignore her, whom she grabs and throws into a nearby ravine.
There's no winning.
No, this one,
ignore her.
She got some
she
strength.
Comes at you.
She got some strength. She's like, I'm gonna catcall you, and I'm gonna attack you. And if you ignore me, I guess I'm gonna throw you around.
Yeah, there's no winning.
No.
Like I said, carry a heat pack, carry some hot bottled water, or a coffee, something.
So I guess these legends just prove double standards are whack. Anybody can attack you.
Yuki Onna out here coming for you.
Yeah.
Coming for you and your kids and your husbands and everybody.
Yeah. Just everybody. All right. So let's talk about how she's represented in popular culture. So for those of you who like Pokemon, Frostlass is based on the Yuki Onna. So
that's wild. Because literally it's Frostlass. I did not know that.
Pretty much. And so the Frostlass searches for unwary prey and victims in snowstorms and freezes them into ice statues. Sometimes it loves to show off the corpses to the victims that it has killed. Nevertheless, it can be extremely protective towards the things it adores, especially its children. So, yeah.
This is further evidence that Pokemon are dangerous. And we need to stop fucking with them. Like, don't fuck with Pokemon. They will. If you look at the Pokédex entries of Pokemon, I'm just like, the game is way too clean. Like, there needs to be an R-rated version of Pokemon.
Oh, snap. That would be legit.
Frostlass is killing people.
Yes.
That's wild. I want a Pokédex cut.
And, like, the Pokemon looks very, like, elegant. And I think it's a femme Pokemon. And so it has, like, a white kimono. And it just has, like, those piercing eyes. It's just like, I'm going to get you.
I think if it's the one I'm thinking of, and I'm not any means expert, I think it's if you catch a baby version of a Pokemon and it's the gender marker is female, it'll evolve into Frostlass, and if it's a male gender marker, it'll evolve into like this snowball with demon horns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I believe if it's the one I'm thinking of, it might be that one. That's wild.
Yeah. So, and on Canadian TV, the series Myth Quest, one of the episodes, they based the story off of the infamous Oyuki and Monokichi story.
Oh, yeah.
And then if you watch Detective Conan, episode 490 alludes to her legends.
Okay, cool.
And then she's also found on so many different animes as different characters. So check the link in the description if you're interested. Yeah, there's so many different types. I kind of looked through it, and there's like QT ones, like evil ones, old ones like back in the 80s. So you could probably see her in anime form.
Interesting. So I'm curious, like, if there was, I think we mentioned something about a video game earlier. If there was a Yuki Onna video game, what would that be like?
I guess like running away from her or trying to find her and like trying to like destroy her, I guess.
Would it be like I think it'd be a mobile game.
Yeah, or like you'd have like fire weapons or
Right,
something.
right. So you leave the village, right? And you got a torch. And you got to go find her and kill her before the torch runs out.
Ooh, what if it was like kind of like Fatal Frame and it was
Oh, God.
very traditional, like old, like maybe back in that period of time, like 1300s.
Yeah. Ugh.
And it's like very shadowy, it's dark, and you only have the fire, and she kind of floats around. Like that would be scary.
Hell
like
no.
Full on horror gaming.
I wonder if there's like Japan horror games on like the Nintendo market, because is
so.
Nintendo like too family friendly now?
It's kind of always been. I know they tried doing Fatal Frame on the Wii like a long time ago in Japan. I don't really pay attention to games here, so if you know any Japanese horror games, I guess on Nintendo. I don't think so though.
Yeah, that's wild. But yeah, I thought it'd be like a mobile game, but I guess like a Nintendo game would work too, like a Fatal Frame style.
How do you feel about the Snow Woman? I feel like I've said her name too many times, so I'm gonna avoid it because I don't want to like make a curse or something.
Yeah, that's I didn't know anything about this legend. I kind of like peeked over occasionally when you were researching. I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. Like that looks cool. Whatever. But like, I didn't actually like look into what you were talking about. So I learned a lot. And I also learned that like in the winters, bring a heat pack, bring some hot water.
I don't think a heat pack is gonna work, Ashish. I really don't.
You never know.
Maybe.
You never know. Especially if it's like one of those like super hot ones. Yeah, I don't know. This legend in general, it's so like different. Like there's some sad versions, there's some like hella scary versions. Like, I don't know.
I think it gets worse in the more snowy areas, which makes sense. I'm not too sure if I believe in this legend, but I think let's say that it wasn't true, I think it's more so a story that maybe parents pass on to their children, like, hey, stay warm, avoid strangers, don't get sick,
Yeah, I feel like you could learn a lot from these urban legends. I'm kind of like, what is it called? Shell-shocked. Because it's like, there's the moon princess and the snow vampires. Like, I don't know how to feel about it. I'm just like, stay away from scary women in the cold. Gotcha.
That's a safe route. Yeah. All right. So we're going to go watch a Yuki Onna movie, share our thoughts, and give a movie review in the next segment.
I am already terrified.
All right, this closer convo is going to be a movie review on the Yuki Onna story in the Kwaidan Japanese Ghost Anthology film of 1965 and the Yuki Onna film of 2016.
Yeah.
So we saw both of them. If you watch the Kwaidan one, there's a lot more ghost stories. But yeah, let's just start with that one.
Okay. Kwaidan was better. I'm just gonna say that right now.
It was a lot better. It is older, clearly, but it just had more depth, and it was more of an artsy film.
Oh yeah,
and I was engaged the whole time. Now the 2016 one,
the camera quality was better.
Yeah, because I mean, time.
Yeah, and the lighting and the cinematography and the sound design and the location, that was all much better. But in terms of like actual quality, nah.
Yeah, so with the older one, 65, let's talk about that one. So that one actually freaked me out. The music was so good. It had like traditional Japanese like instruments to really define the horror of the movie. And it first started off with like an eyeball in the sky.
Yeah, we thought that was kind of weird. So you can tell it's a set kind of thing because there's like art stuff in the background, and we saw some kind of eyeball looking thing.
Yeah,
that's a very common motif, and it's to symbolize like the Yuki Onna like presence, I guess.
Yeah, like how she's always overseen. It could be like how earlier we mentioned there's some stories about mountain gods or something. It could be like supernatural, what, like watching over people. I will say that both of these movies went off of the infamous story, the old man and the young boy. So that was the story. It was actually really good. It did the basic story like we told you earlier. They were going through the woods and it was snowing and they couldn't get back.
Right.
So they found this hut, and yeah, and that's it. It just goes on from there. The Yuki Onna comes in and freezes his old man to death, and yeah.
Yeah, I will say 65 was a little bit slower in terms of pacing. What stuck out to me was how 65 felt like, I'm going to call him 65 in 2016.
Okay.
65 felt like it was more authentic in a way. It didn't feel like it was trying to put on.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
so
saying?
It was slower, but at the same time it focused on the main story points. So if you knew the legend, like, it was spot on, and it focused more on the tension, and Yuki Onna was a lot more scary in the 65 one because you know, she didn't have like any eyebrows, and like she looked very stark, and her personality was very like confident, and like she knew she was tricking him.
Yeah, she had a lot more motivation, and the shot framing of the actors within the screen was really freaking cool. There was one where he was walking and she's like, oh, ha ha ha, like flirting with him, and then in the background you see like the eyeball like mished into the clouds, and then his head stops on the eyeball, and then he looks back and he's like, oh, you laughing at me, you like me, and then it's like she got him, you know.
Yeah, and I don't know, there's a lot of consistency. So like when she's involved, there's eyes in the sky.
Exactly.
You know, even the color toning, red is a very important color here. I mean, not just because it's a Japanese story, but it's kind of a sign of her and her presence. Like the red flag led him to the hut, you know, and like after he got petrified from seeing her kill the old man, when he went back out, the forest was red and the sky was red.
Right, and this was in 65, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and like whenever she's in her like Yuki Onna mode, everything's cold. Like they literally change the lighting to be blue, and like her face is like kind of like lit with fluorescent lights, and it's wild.
Yeah, so like at the beginning when she's like in her ghost mode, it's blue, and then the rest of the time is very warm, and like he does meet her, and like you said, they were flirting and stuff, and he invites her back to his house, and eventually they just kind of like fall in love. I know there was like this seductive scene of them like you know, falling in the field, and he was just like all over her breast, and it was like okay, and then all of a sudden this 3 kids popped out.
Yeah, just that was wild. And 65 was technically like a short film, is like part of a different ones. When we watched 2016, they got to the point in the get-go, I was like, oh, y'all going straight for it. And like 2016, that one had the same story, right? They're walking on the they're walking home, essentially. They can't get across the river. They go into a hut, and then boom, you see Yuki Onna right away. And then the whole like, oh, whatever, like what we said earlier.
She seemed less powerful in the 2016 one.
Yeah.
Like she was trying to kill the old man, but like it didn't look like she was doing anything. And also she was like on top of them. Like she was very touchy. And like you can tell the beauty standard changed, because in the first one, she had this very like old style beauty.
Like the super
mature,
traditional,
very beautiful, and like maybe not to what people would think today, but in the newer one, she looked a lot more youthful. She had like more dark makeup around her eyes. It was like more seductive, and like the way her, like she was moving her body, it was like this seductive, scary ghost.
And her motivations weren't as clear either.
Yeah.
She did seem a little bit less in charge. She seemed a little bit less what is it when you're like, when you know what you're doing?
Like her confidence was lacking, I guess.
Yeah, like it didn't seem like she knew what she was doing.
She didn't have an agenda in the second one. But like back to 65 one, it seemed like a nice story. Like they had their kids and like they were having a good time. And then when he tells her like, hey, you remind me of, Yuki Onna, he says a whole story. And there was tension when he told her, like, 'cause she was sewing something and she just all of a sudden like kind of stopped and was like, oh, you're telling me this story, which I told you not to say.
What's wild is like he did it because he was looking at her and she went into like, she kind of zoned out a little bit.
Yeah.
And like she was just doing her own thing and like he got hella triggered.
He did. He was like, whoa. And he had like a PTSD moment.
Yeah, because he in the short film, after his like old man partner friend died, he had like hella PTSD for a year. Yeah. And like you really felt it from the acting and from all that. And it's amazing to me that they were able to do that. You know what I mean? Because like when he's telling the story, he's reliving it. And like you were saying, she's looking at him like, are you really telling me this story right now?
Yeah. And then so like when he's done, she's like, just slowly is like, okay, let me put up my sewing. I think they were getting ready for a New Year's New Year's event. And she just goes up to him and she's just like, you messed up. She was like, I told you not to say this story. I'm Yuki Onna. I would kill you, but we have kids. And then as this happens, the inside of the house gets filled with snow and it's icy except for the kids' room. She really loves the kids.
Right.
And then she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go, but you better take care of those children. And if you don't, I'm definitely gonna kill you.
Yeah, she's like, I will hear about it. Yeah, I'm going to be watching because she got the eyeballs in the sky,
Yeah, and then she just leaves the house and then she runs into like the sky, which has this huge eyeball, and
which was so creepy.
Yeah, and like the instruments were like wailing, and there was like this other wailing in like the background. It was very freaky and unsettling.
It was actually scary, I will say. Like in the beginning, the pacing and the shot composition, the acting, it was all intentional and it was very tense. I did not get that at all with 2016. Because with 65, it was part of a longer series. So they were like, we need to make this impactful. I think they did a good job of that.
Oh, yeah. And like, he really looked like he was stunned. He's like, dang, I messed up. And I think
he had that I fucked up face.
Yeah. And then like, he left her shoes that he made her that they were going to wear for New Year's outside. And like, she took them and like her footprints were disappearing. So it was very like definite of like the story that you would probably hear, like the one we shared earlier. But in 2016, I don't know, there was so much modern story involved that I kind of was turned off by it.
It felt like there was a lot going on. Like,
yeah, they changed the time period and everything.
Yeah, like in the beginning they got straight to the point. I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're going fast. Like, where are we gonna go? Like, how's this going? And then after that, it was so slow.
And like when he met her, like the Yuki Onna, after she was not in ghost mode, like there was no stakes. It didn't seem like he was triggered or like petrified or worried that she would appear again. And when he sees her, and like in the first one she seems very confident and flirty, and this one she's like unsure of herself.
I think she didn't have any memories, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think this one they kind of changed the story up a little bit. She was like confused. She didn't know where she was going. And she was like, yeah, I guess you can help me out. And she just seemed very unsure, kind of weak, didn't know what she was, where she was,
I think we only see her in Yuki Onna form in 2016, like at the very beginning.
That's it.
And that was actually kind of upsetting because I was like, oh, the beginning was actually a lot more better, like not better, but like more modern pace. And then we meet her again outside. She's like, oh, I'm going this way. And they have the same thing. Like he takes her to mom's house, they meet or whatever.
The same thing. Yeah. I will say there was no eyeballs in the sky in this one.
Which I missed those eyeballs.
I know. It was very freaky. It kind of gave me like Inuyasha vibes, like that like folklore anime horror kind of thing. And with this one, it was like flickering lights. Like she would just look across the lake towards the forest, I guess.
It reminded me of the snow vampire like variation. So I feel like they added that into it a little bit, where she's like being influenced by like the forest, or like she's part of the forest,
Or
or
like the
something like
mountain
that.
gods, because he does mention like, oh haha, like the mountain gods are mad at you or something.
Or something, because they're like jealous of how beautiful you are or something.
Yeah,
Some
which
dumb. And he was hitting on her this time.
yeah, that's true.
Kichi was initiating. He was like, hey girl, you cute.
Yeah, and she did get sick in this movie. The other one, she did not get sick. She was just like almighty, powerful yokai. But in this one, she got sick, and then I think the doctor lady, she knew she was different. She was like, "Oh, she'll be okay. Just make sure she's fed." So it makes me think, was she the type of Yuki Onna that would go and feast on people?
Maybe.
And then also, they just had one child in this one versus three.
Yeah. I think they tried having I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Full disclosure here. This movie was not holding my attention.
Yeah, we definitely skipped through it a little bit.
Yeah.
Enough to still get the point, but it was so slow like after a while.
And it wasn't engaging. Like there was a certain point where I was like, I don't know what's going on and I don't care. Because there were characters and side plots introduced that I felt like the beginning of the story did not lead any expectation to what was going to happen, and I feel like that distracted too much. So I'm over here wondering who this person is, why they matter, and I'm over here like, we just saw the Yuki Onna. Like y'all literally showed us the Yuki Onna at the beginning. So like, why do I care about anything but when is she gonna turn back into the Yuki Onna? Because we know it's Yuki.
Yeah, because she had no like terror. Like I wasn't scared of her character in the 2016 version. Yeah, and so she does have a daughter, and it's kind of weird. So we started thinking, is her daughter a type of Yuki Onna or like a Yuki child, like
Yuki Onna Jr.,
like a ghost child or something? Because there was a point where she's like with a friend of her age, and they're like kids, and she like lures him to somebody, like her mom, I think
so, because they go and hang out like after school, and then they go to the hut where the old man died, which so weird.
I feel like she knew, like,
and then it started snowing and she takes the boy out, and he was like holding his chest a lot, so I feel like they were trying to like
it's that life force, maybe.
Yeah, that's why it reminded me of like the vampires. So I don't know.
Yeah, and then he got lured by,
I think it was the mom,
and then the next scene was he was dead.
Yeah, it was smash cut. It was him on the floor.
And like she was smiling when he was getting lured, and it was like nighttime. Like yeah. So that was weird. So it made me think that she kind of has the same thing,
or she's in on it. Oh, because she was sitting by the lake too. I'm sorry, we're like jumping around all through this, y'all.
Yeah, and then she was like kind of getting energy from the forest. It was weird. Like it was not clear enough for me.
Yeah, Yuki Jr. was definitely, I think, in on it in the 2016 one. Yuki Onna, like the main one, I don't know, she was not engaging.
Yeah, and like when the dad, so Minokichi, was like, hey, like when he's gonna tell her the story, here she was also sewing, so that was like very similar, and he's like, hey, like you remind me of this lady in this sad night, and she took someone away from me, and like blah blah blah.
He's like, I found you, and like that actually brought happiness back to my life and all this stuff.
Yeah, but he's like, but you also were there at the same time it happened. So he was like kind of accusing her, and it was not as tense as the old one. Like in this one, she was like, okay, well, since you told me, like, I won't kill you, but I'm gonna go. And then she just disappears.
Yeah, she legit just walks out the door. And like the first one, like in 65, Yuki Onna, she made an exit.
Yeah, and she was mad. She was like, bro, no. Yeah, anyways, I mean, if you watch just the second one, you'll still get something out of it. But if you had to choose, definitely check out the Kwaidan one. It
Mm-hmm.
has so much more like natural horror and suspense in it. And if you like
It
that kind of
is
stuff,
older, but it holds up, I feel.
yeah. And if you want more of like, I guess, modern Japan telling this story, I guess watch the 2016 one. But
If you want to watch both, I would say watch 2016 and then 65, because
nah.
2016, you're gonna, if you're gonna watch like a modern movie, like if you don't like older movies, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But like I will say, we saw like a good 20 to 30 minutes of 2016 when I just stopped it. I lost interest like so early.
Yeah, I think
Like,
they were too focused on making like the titles and the names all like
mhm.
artsy and
And
like minimalist. It was like
they were
just get to
shooting
the
on
story.
like the natural landscapes and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, not much really stuck out to me. It wasn't really like location based to what I am used to. You
Right.
know, like maybe if I lived further out in the mountains, I could relate. The horror was pretty good.
The horror, I will say, was good. If you've never seen like anything Yuki Onna related, I would say the horror is pretty good because it's very like psychological,
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure. Hmm.
Yeah. I liked it. I liked Kwaidan more than the 2016 Yuki Onna.
Hmm.
I wish it had the same energy at the beginning. So if I would recommend something, I would recommend go watch Kwaidan for sure. So
Yeah,
that's
for
what I would
sure.
recommend. How about you?
Same.
Okay. And the thing I wanted to say, I noticed that a lot of the nature stuff was near like temples and like small villages.
Yeah.
So like that kind of made me wary of temples a little bit because I know they're like extremely spiritual, and I'm like, I'm not really that spiritual. I don't want to run into any like weird
Well, it's
stuff.
because like normally there's graveyards right next to them. So
Right.
if you do believe in spirits and ghosts, like that is some heavy spirit energy, and especially because most times you have to pass under a shrine gate,
The
like a
tories or whatever.
tori
Yeah.
gate. Yeah. So essentially, like you're entering a new realm or like a
Hmm.
different. There's a separation of like reality and the spirit world kind of thing.
Makes sense.
So like if you believe in that, yeah, that's where
Yeah.
a lot of that spiritual
That's the
activity
thing
would
that stuck
happen.
out to me the most.
Yeah.
I
It's kind of creepy, yeah.
don't know. If there was a sequel, would you watch it?
I mean, apparently there's so many versions. I think I'm satisfied with the original.
Okay. The
Hmm.
65 Kwaidan.
Yeah. I mean, I think I got the story,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I'm kind of tired of the Snow Woman story now,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it was pretty good.
I thought so too. The only thing I would say is like, I wish we watched the whole Kwaidan. You know, I know we're doing it for this episode, but I might even just go back and like watch the whole
Oh,
thing.
for sure. Like I'd watch the other stories, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a whole 3-hour movie and there's an intermission. So
Yeah,
if you just want to watch some old school Japanese ghost stories, like,
definitely give it a shout out.
yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Hope y'all enjoyed this episode. If you have anything to add to this conversation, comment on our episode 26 Instagram post at Abnormal Japan. And if you like this episode, be sure to leave us support by following us on your favorite listening platform if you haven't already. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review and star rating.
Yeah. Give us a thumbs up for sure if you can on whatever platform, and like us and let us know your thoughts on this episode. You know, was the Yuki Onna scary? Did you see the movie? Like, what are your thoughts? We want to hear. Also, if you're listening on YouTube or a platform that allows comments and ratings and stuff, drop a comment. You know, we'd love to hear back from y'all and, you know, get some feedback. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We'd love to hear from y'all. And yeah, we appreciate everyone who tuned in. Thank you so much. Look out for another episode next week.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all.